Hello my fashion lovers, welcome to today's tutorial. On today's tutorial, we're going to be looking at how to cut a princess dart bustier. A princess dart bustier with an illusion neckline. We'll be cutting, be padding and be sewing this princess dart. I'm going to be drafting it on the paper so that I can be able to see what I'm drafting before we transfer it to this fabric. Please, if you have not subscribed, subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell to be notified anytime I post a video. Let's go to the cutting right away. Before we start the cutting, we are going to take the biggest part of the body, which is the bust. The bust I'm working with is 36. When I divide it by 4, it's going to give me 9. Then I'll add extra 3 inches sewing allowance. So that will determine the amount of fabric you're going to put on fold. Or for this practical, it's better to draft it on the paper before cutting it, because you're going to add the joining allowance. For the length, for the half length I'm working with is 17 plus 1 inch sewing allowance, making it 18. So this is my starting point. This is the starting point. From the shoulder to the armhole I'm working with is 9 inches. The bust point is 10.5. The under bust is 14. And the waist, I'll rule it out. This is the bust point, this is under bust, and this is the waistline. The shoulder measurement I'm working with is 50. When you divide it by 2, it will give me 7.5. From here, I will take 1 inch shoulder slope. Then I will take my armhole. Connect it with a straight line. This is my armhole. For the neck I'm working with, for the width, I'll be taking 4.5. And for the legs, I'll be taking 3 inches. Now I'll connect it. And I'll take the shoulder slope. To take the darts, nipple to nipple measurements I'm working with for the darts is 7 inches. Nipple to nipple measurement is 8 inches. 8 inches divided by 2 will give me 4. I'll mark it here. Now connect it. On this side, I'll be taking 1/2 inch. On this side, I'll be taking 1 inch because the bust measurement I'm working with is small. That's why I'm taking 1 inch on this side and 1/2 inch on this side. And I'm going to connect it with a straight line. On this bust point, I will come down by 1 inch and also go up by 1 inch. So I'll connect this to this point using my curve ruler. Connect this to these two. On this point, I'll get the midpoint. I'll get the midpoint of this. And I'll come out by 1/2 inch. I'll come out by 1/2 inch. On this side, I'll be taking 1 inch on this side. And on this side, I'll be taking 1 inch. And I'll connect it to this line I came up with. I'll connect it to this line. I'll connect it to this point using my curve ruler. I'll connect it. And because I deducted 1 inch from this side, I'm going to add it up. I'm going to add it up to this point. I'll add it up. And I'll connect it back. To avoid shortage. And for the illusion neckline, depending on how wide you want it to be open. On this waistline, I'll be taking 1/2 inch because I want it to be open with 1 inch. When I open it, it's going to be 1 inch. I'm taking 1/2 inch, and on this bust point, I'll be taking 1 inch on this bust point. Taking 1 inch, and I'll connect it with a straight ruler. And I'm going to connect using my curve ruler to this point I marked upwards. I'll connect. The straight ruler, the curved ruler, connect. Depending on how wide you want your bust part to be showing, and the illusion neckline is going to get to the waist. That's why I marked it starting from the waist. Now let's take the body measurements. The bust I'm working with is 36 divided by 4 will give me 9 plus 2 inches sewing allowance. The underbust I'm working with is 32. When you divide it by 4 is going to give me 8. Plus 1.5 inch I'm going to cut out from here. I'll add it up. Plus 2 inches sewing allowance. Then on this part, my waist, the waist I'm working with is 28 divided by 4 will give me 7. Plus this 1.5 inch I will cut out. I will add it up, making it 1.5 inches plus 2 inches sewing allowance. That will connect. Then I'll connect the armhole. So this is our illusion neck line. Now I'm going to cut. If you have any question, please ask in the comment section. I'm going to cut it out. Make sure you cover this side. Make sure you put your hand on the cuff. Tuck the darts. See what we have here. Now I'm going to place it on a fold. I'm going to place my fabric on a fold and cut it out. This is going to be the yoke. This is the yoke. This is the yoke. Now to cut, put your fabric on fold. We're going to put it on fold. Put it on fold and place. You're going to place it even ½ inch joining allowance on this part because we're going to use it to join. So we're going to leave ½ inch joining allowance before you cut. Sure you leave your joining allowance. Make sure you notch your bust points, notch it up, and notch your under bust so that it will be easy for you when you want to join. Now I'm going to cut this, put it on a fold too. Put your fabric on a fold. You're still going to leave the joining allowance on the sides. This side, leave half inch joining allowance here, leave half inch joining allowance. So I'll be able to join it. Make sure you also notch the bust points. Also notch the bust points and the under bust. Notch it on the two sides, the bust points and the under bust. Now cut the yoke. Now I'm going to cut the yoke, leaving my half inch joining allowance. Now we're going to join. We're going to pad first before we join. Let's cut the padding. Can you see what I have here? This is the yoke, this is the side, and this is the side. Now I'm going to cut the pad. I'm going to cut the pad. The pad will be in between this place. The pad will be on this one and on this side. And the pad will be on this side and on this side. Let me cut the pad. To cut the pad, replace the side, that is the armhole side, place it and trace out this curve. Place it and trace out this curve. It's going to stop at the under bust. It's going to stop at the under bust. This for the side, and make sure you notch your bust point. Your bust point and your under bust. Make sure you notch it out. Then from here, from the bust point, you measure 4.5. The bust point, you measure 4.5 inches because you wouldn't want the part to get to your. You wouldn't want the part to get to your armhole, so you mark it. So you are going to connect to the under bust part. And you cut it out. I'm going to take this part, then you're going to gum it. You're going to gum it. See how it's going to be. You're going to use your iron. You're going to use your iron it down for this side. And for this side too, you're going to use your iron and iron it down. See what I have here? Iron it down. Iron this place down. Iron this place down. Then for this part, you're still going to cut the padding. The padding is still going to be at the under bust and on the bust points. For this side, you're still going to do the same. The padding is starting from the under bust. This is the under bust. This is the under bust. Also make sure you notch the bust points. And cut out this side. So it's going to, we are still going to gum this. So we are still going to gum it. We still gum it. Still gum it. Gum down this side. Gum down this side before you join it to the other side. Let me gum it down and show you. After attaching your pad and attaching on this side too, you attach your pad on this side. Now you're going to take it like this. You're going to take it, start from the down part, and you're going to join it. You're going to sew it. You're going to sew it until you get to this place. I'm going to sew it. Let me sew it and show you. After joining, this is what I have. So I'm going to open up this place and press it very well. Open up this place, press it, sew the front. Now you're going to bring this side. You're going to bring this side and attach this side to this side. You're going to join it till you get to this point. We're going to attach it, but before I do that, I'm going to use this material as a base for this one. I'm going to use it to turn the neck. I'll use this to turn the neck. Use it to turn the neck, then flip it over before attaching this one. Let me show you. I use this material to turn the neck. I use it to turn the neck, but if you want, you can still use this same material. You can still use the same material you use as your yoke to turn the neck. Now after attaching it, you're now going to flip it like this. We're going to flip it like this. We're going to attach from here. Using the seam allowance you left while you were cutting it, we're going to use it to attach on this side. Until you get to the tip. Using the seam allowance you left, half-inch seam allowance, we're going to sew it down. We're going to sew it down with the seam allowance. I'm going to sew it down. Let me sew it and show you. After attaching, this is what I have. Make sure you give it a good press. Make sure you press it very well. This is what I have for this side. This is what I have for this side. The same thing I did here, that is the same thing I'm going to do to this side. And the same way you cut this fabric, that is the way you're going to cut your lining. Cut your lining so that you can use it to turn it. Make sure you open it up. Iron all the edges. Iron out all the edges. Open it up and iron the seams. Iron the seams. Now you're going to cut your lining the same way you cut your fabric. You're going to cut your lining the same way you cut your fabric. Now you're still going to join it. You're still going to join it the same way you joined your fabric. You're going to join it together. Join it together. You're going to join it together. Join the lining together. Now after joining it, this is what you have. This is what you have. This is what you have. Now you're going to place it. Going to open this up. We're going to attach it from here. We're going to attach it, cover this place up. Use it to turn the sides. Can you see what I'm doing? Cover it up. Use it to cover up this side. Can you see? Use it to cover this side. So I'm going to attach it to cover up the sewing. After covering it up, this is what you have. After covering it up, this is what you're going to have. This is what you're going to have. Then I'm going to use my iron to iron it very well, press it very well, then put it on the mannequin for you to see what I have. I'll put it on the mannequin to see what I have. Please, if you have any question, ask in the comments section. Please like, subscribe, and put on your notification bell to be notified anytime I post a new video. Thank you very much.